You're listening to Fun with Horror with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Well, hello, all you friends and family of horror and Fun with Horror and everybody out there. This is Fun with Horror. Welcome back to your weekly horror movie review podcast show in which Andrew and I give each other movies to watch, and then we discuss them the following week. We have two rules. Two rules when picking our movies. One, whoever picks the movie has to pick a movie they've never seen. And number two, we both have to watch the movie.
Nice.
So yes, if I pick a movie and Andrew's already seen it, well, he's got to watch that movie, gosh darn it. He's got to watch it again, even if he hated it. Last week, Andrew.
Yes, Scotty. What'd you pick?
I picked a recent movie. I picked Don't Breathe 2.
Ooh.
Directed by Rodo Sayagues. And I was looking forward to seeing it. You were too.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched it, and we're going to discuss it.
Yes.
Of course, stay tuned, everybody, until the end of this episode to hear what Andrew will be picking for next week's movie.
Ooh.
Next week's movie. Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy. What a great intro.
Oh, come on. I was trying to remember everything to say.
No, it's perfect. Now, you know what, though? It sounded natural, whereas mine, I know what I'm going to say, but I still have my notes out. And so I notice that I'll catch myself reading it, and I'm like, now it sounds rehearsed.
The first rule of acting, Andrew,
I know.
is to memorize your lines.
I know, but I don't know, man. I'm not, well,
Get
first
in
of
character.
all, I'm retired. I retired
Wait,
from the
since when?
biz. I haven't acted since L.A., man. What? That was like 10 years ago. I'm
You
rusty.
never retired, though.
Yes, I'm calling
Hey, I
it
haven't
retirement.
acted since I was 21 or, 19, 18, whatever.
Whatever.
But I'm never retired.
Maybe someday I'll get back into it. I don't know.
You know who does think we're perfect?
Who's that?
Big Timmy Caprizi and Dystopia Dan.
Wow, what a segue. That was beautiful.
But seriously,
Yes.
everybody might know, on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think you can in Spotify, and I don't think you can in Google Podcasts. But in Apple Podcasts, people can leave reviews. And a couple of people, we just wanted to give a shout out because they left two very lovely reviews.
Yes, absolutely.
Big Timmy Caprizi and Dystopia Dan. If you're out there listening, thank you very much.
Yes.
Your kind words mean the world to us. Seriously.
Serious. I know. When I saw him one day at work, I was like, oh man, that's made my whole day better. It was awesome, really.
Yeah, and that one day that I was sitting on the toilet and I saw them, it just made that experience a lot better.
You know what else will make it better? Fiber.
Oh. How do you know I don't already eat fiber and that's why I was in there?
Touché.
Well, that went off the rails quickly.
Yeah, real quick. But for real, thank you.
Seriously, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody that has left us a review or even just given us a bunch of stars and not written a review. We appreciate all of them. And if you want, go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Even if you want to tell us you hate us, that we suck, we appreciate it all.
Well, I mean,
I guess we don't really appreciate that, but
yeah. I'll throw it out there. I'd much rather appreciate a good one. But
that's fair.
I guess if you want to write something mean, it's just like high school all over again for Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, don't be mean, of course, but, constructive criticism is always nice.
Yes, there you go.
I mean,
yes.
We're not going to listen to it, but... How was your week, Andrew?
It was pretty good, man. It was a good week.
Yeah?
Yeah, really busy, but we had, up here in Washington State, we had lots of snow, so I actually had to work from home a couple days because we were snowed in.
Oh, man.
I know.
That's kind of nice. You had to work from home. Oh,
You're
poor
right.
you.
That was nice. But I don't like snow. I don't like it.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, I look at snow. It's pretty to look at. I get that. But driving in snow is a real pain in the butt, and I don't like it.
Well, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I wouldn't want to drive in snow either.
Good, yes.
But as you said, you get to work from home.
Right, which is nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You get to sit and look out the window at that beautiful white snow falling.
That's true. That is true.
Oh.
But what about you? How was your week, dude?
Well, L.A., I'm going to tell you something that chaps my hide, buddy. L.A. is experiencing a big spike in COVID cases, you know? It's what it is. But here's what chaps my hide.
Please.
Scream 5 is about to come out. And yes, it's just called Scream.
You're right.
Because that chaps my hide too. But anyway. Like, come on, you can't call it Scream 5 or something, just Scream. Hey, what are you going to watch this weekend? I'm going to watch Scream. Which one?
Right. It's the same with Halloween. Halloween did the same thing.
Yeah, and we got used to saying Halloween 2018, so I guess we're going to call this one Scream 2022.
Right.
Anyway, that's not what okay. What chaps my hide is that some of us, and no judgment to anybody who makes their own choices, but some of us don't feel quite safe to go to a theater right now.
Fair. Yep.
And with a movie like Scream, that's going to be not fun because we're going to be dodging spoilers.
Right.
People are probably going to want to go on the internet and say, "Oh, I can't believe so-and-so was the killer."
Right.
So I'm not looking forward to dodging spoilers because personally, I don't feel safe going into a theater right now. I don't really want to catch COVID.
I get you, man. I get it.
So I really wish that Scream was releasing on one of the streaming services at the same time. Even if I had to pay a rental price, I would do it.
Yep.
For a movie like this, I would do it. Just so I don't have to go to a theater. So
I agree. I mean, just watching Halloween Kills and the way both you and I watched it was kind of a marathon was really fun. Like I would love to do that with Scream. Watch 4 1 through 4, and then do 5 maybe in a couple days. But that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, and for us, it also means that a review of Scream is going to have to wait until we both get to see it.
Yep.
If we even do an episode for it, we may just watch it and then talk about it here in the intro.
Who knows what the future brings?
Who knows?
Get the girl! It's not me you need to be scared of, little girl, but the man standing next to you. Now, I don't know who he is, but I know who he's not. Should I tell her or you?
You know one thing I do know, Andrew.
What's that?
The movie we're going to talk about this week. How'd you like that segue?
Dude, you're on a roll with segues today. My gosh.
No pun intended, right? Because, you ride a segue.
Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. And that's the show, folks.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So anyway, yeah, what movie?
What movie?
Andrew, don't breathe. 2.
You don't breathe
Do
too.
You know how many times I said that to my girlfriend? How many times?
How many times?
Do you
did
know how many
say
times? Once.
that? One time. I
One
thought it'd
time.
be
No.
2 times.
2 times.
2 time.
Oh my God.
Boy.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Scotty.
Welcome back to Fun with Horror, your weekly movie review podcast. Where this week we're talking about Don't Breathe 2.
They're beautiful.
It was directed by Rodo Sayagues,
Yes.
and it was released in 2021, starring Stephen Lang as the blind man.
Who was also the blind man in Don't Breathe 1.
Andrew, what did you think of Don't Breathe 2?
No, this is your movie. You start. What did you think of Don't Breathe 2?
I just figured we're so off the rails.
I
that-
know. Today's crazy.
What did I think of it? Do you want to know what I thought of it?
I really do. Yes. What did you think of Don't Breathe 2?
Oh, boy. Andrew, I was slightly disappointed in Don't Breathe 2.
Totally fair.
What did you think of it? Yeah, I'll get into it in a second, but what did you think of it?
I was slightly disappointed as well. Believe
Oh,
it or
my
not.
gosh.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
And I will.
Oh,
Yeah, I have my
boy.
notes as well. But
I have, yeah.
yep. Yeah.
Okay, so let me first off say that there's a lot to like about this movie.
Totally.
I watched it twice. I watched it once to enjoy, to absorb, and then number 2, I watched it with the commentary, which was just Rodo, the director.
Okay.
Interesting thing, Fede Alvarez and Rodo, they both created this Don't Breathe series. They created the first movie. Fede was the one who directed it.
Okay.
And it showed, like, Fede had directed movies before. This time, they switched roles. They both wrote this one too, but they decided to let Rodo direct this one, and it was his first one, his first movie. So, but I honestly, I don't really fault the direction of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or anything. It's more the story and the writing. And I feel like, in essence, they had a really good premise for the movie. But halfway through, they didn't really know exactly where to go with it.
Fair.
And they kind of made it up as they went along, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, like the first 40 minutes of the movie seemed very, very good.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a phrase that we've said many times today, it kind of went off the rails a little bit for me.
Yeah. Yep.
So, well, let's talk about the first 40 minutes first.
Yes.
And I'll as I do, I'll tell you how I would have done it.
I love it, man. I love your notes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have this story going on, and okay, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler warning. We're going into spoiler territory. We're definitely going to spoil Don't Breathe 2. But we are also probably going to spoil Don't Breathe 1. In
Correct.
fact, I know we are.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen either movie, here's your warning. Bam. Okay.
Boom. That was perfect.
So, when we start off the movie, we see a little girl walking away from a burning house, collapsing in the road. And then all of a sudden, we jump ahead eight years.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And the blind man, and I know his name, by the way. His name is Norman Nordstrom.
Wow. Good work.
Yeah, they never say his name in the movies.
No, they don't.
But Fede and Rodo say his name in the bonus features and stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, Norman is his name. So I'm going to be referring to him as Norman through most of this podcast.
Perfect.
Norman is raising this little girl. And right away, this is one thing I did like about the movie. I liked that this movie gave us a sense of mystery. We had no idea what was going on.
Correct. Yeah, totally.
And because of the events of the first movie, I was a little weirded out. Like, who is this little girl? How did Norman get this little girl? Because, as we know in the first movie, it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
He had kidnapped a girl, and he was trying to, with a cooking baster,
Yes.
he was trying to impregnate her with his own seed.
Right.
Semen.
Yes. Because it was the girl
And,
that killed his daughter, I believe in a car accident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he was trying to replace his daughter by pretty much raping a girl.
Right. Yeah.
So that
Horrifying.
was it was horrifying. So right away, I don't know if you had the same thought, but I'm wondering how this little girl came around.
I thought the exact same thing. I was very nervous.
Yeah. We're introduced to a ranger named Hernandez who takes the little girl into town. Norman doesn't really want that to happen, but he's confronted with the idea that the little girl's going to start to rebel, so he's got to let her go sometime.
Right.
In town, they come across a creepy-ass meth head named Raylan.
Right.
And Raylan is played by Brendan Sexton III.
Correct.
And
That's creepy.
he was creepy. Do you remember him from Empire Records? Did you ever see Empire Records?
I did not see Empire Records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the Empire Records fans out there, yeah, you guys remember Brendan Sexton III. He was a crazy little character in that movie.
Really? Okay.
And he's got a quirkiness to him that I love every time I see him in a movie.
I agree. I liked him, but he was creepy. But I really liked the actor for sure.
Yeah. And so this eventually leads to these meth heads invading Norman's house where Norman is living. It's a new house. He doesn't live there anymore. The house from the first movie, I mean.
Right.
He's living in a new house with the little girl, and they invade the house. This part, I was slightly torn on because number one, I love this part. It was back to the tension of the first movie.
Yep.
And even more so because these meth heads all were bad.
Right. Yes.
Okay? We saw one of them just brutally murder Hernandez the Ranger.
Which I hated. That broke my heart. I really liked Hernandez. I was hoping she was going to be like a kind of the savior of the movie that comes in. But nope. Right away they kill her. Right away.
I agree. And it was a brutal, brutal kill.
Oh, horrible.
Which I appreciate.
Yep.
But yeah, so these were all bad people. Mm-hmm. But this begins one of my first issues with the movie.
Okay.
Because one of the biggest things about this movie is whether or not I feel basically the movie almost makes Norman the hero.
Yes, exactly.
He is the protagonist of the movie, but he's not a character I like.
Nope.
And the events of the first movie really, I mean, they made him, in the first movie you felt kind of sympathetic for him until you find out what kind of a person he really is.
Yep.
And I couldn't ignore that in this movie.
Agreed.
So I don't know if other people watching this movie can be more forgiving of Norman, because this movie is supposed to kind of be his redemption.
Right.
He's not doing anything bad. He knows he's done bad. But he's protecting this little girl who he found on the street, we find out.
Yep.
So yeah, jumping ahead a little bit, we find out that the burning house was a meth lab, and the little girl was the daughter of two meth heads, and she had walked out of this house while who knows where the other people were, if they got out later or if they fled and just left her,
Right.
which
that was my
is very
thought.
likely.
Yep.
And Norman, we find out, finds her in the street and takes her in.
Yep.
And then teaches her how to survive in the world of bad people.
Yep.
Including himself. So one of the biggest things is whether you can forgive Norman and whether you can accept him. It was hard for me to accept him.
I 100% agree. And I
Right?
even thought, like, looking at this movie, if no one saw the first one, they would probably like Norman.
Yeah.
And probably be rooting for him. So, because it's a whole different story. So if you never saw the first one, you're not gonna miss out, I guess, on everything will make sense, I guess I should say, in this one. But in doing that, you really would consider him the hero. But looking at the first one, you're like, this guy's a bad guy. He did a horrible, horrible thing. We should not root for him. So
That's an interesting thought.
yeah.
And funny enough, I didn't think of that the entire movie, that this movie, I mean, except for the one line near the end of the movie where Norman has this moment of self-reflection where he says, I've killed, I've raped.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't deserve to live, or whatever he says after that.
Yeah.
But that was the one part where he recognizes his own evil.
Right.
And other than that line, you're absolutely right. You do not have to see the first movie to see this one.
Mm-hmm.
You only have to see the first movie to understand who Norman really is.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, if you don't watch the first movie, you just watch this one, there's nothing else that ties into the first movie.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. And he's
Wow,
the hero.
that's interesting. I didn't.
Yeah,
he's kind of the hero, but then maybe watching the first movie is what gives you, as an audience member, a conflict inside on whether you should be rooting for Norman. So, because obviously they present people who are even worse than Norman.
Right.
But then, yeah, we have 40 minutes of this movie is basically kind of like the first movie.
Yep, exactly.
Where a bunch of people are invading his house, but with the addition of a little girl.
Right.
Trying to also survive in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's about 45 minutes in. They get the little girl. They achieve what they wanted. They get the little girl. They set the house on fire with Norman inside it.
Mm-hmm.
And leave him for dead, and they take the little girl. And then the rest of the movie is revealed. And at this point, I was wondering what the heck is going to happen now.
Right. Yep.
Because I was pretty much sure the whole movie was going to somehow take place in the house.
I thought the same thing. Yep.
But yeah, so they take the little girl back to this hotel that it's like an abandoned hotel that they've converted into where they live. And man, it just gets worse and worse because, yeah, you find out the little girl is their daughter.
The kidnapper.
Her mom appears. Her mom appears in a wheelchair, and we find out that her mom is dying because of the fumes from that fire.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to do a dirty heart transplant between the little girl and her mom to keep her mom alive. And that's evil in itself.
Right.
But what's even more evil and despicable is that they don't even really care about the mom. They only want her because she's the only one that knows how to cook meth.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's the only reason they want to keep her alive, and they're willing to sacrifice the little girl just to be able to cook more meth.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
All right. So that's despicable.
Right. Absolutely.
Norman makes his way to the hotel, which we'll get to in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Norman invading the hotel. And okay, I will talk about this now.
Yeah.
As you know, I try to ignore things that need a little bit of extra disbelief.
Right. Yes.
In movies, I try and be forgiving of movies when it comes to stuff like that. It became very difficult with this movie for me.
Yeah.
And because, okay, so first of all, one thing I didn't like, they killed Norman's dog.
Oh, I know.
We always hate when they kill a dog.
Absolutely.
And it was done pretty well, except for, I mean, so the dog goes outside because it hears something, and as the dog's like coming towards something, you see somebody shoots a tree in front of the dog.
Right.
And I don't know, man, that was almost heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like this poor dog, and then there's a bullet. I don't know, something about them shooting the tree first and the dog like what was that?
Right. Yeah,
It
more
just,
curious than
I don't know,
scared.
it broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I know. I'm with you, dude.
broke my heart.
I know. Little puppy.
Norman found the dog, and then they replaced the dog by so the meth head, Raylan, has a dog in a cage in the back of his truck. A vicious dog.
Yeah.
The dog chases Norman into the house. Norman traps the dog behind a mattress frame and springs. And there's a touching moment where he's thinking he's got to shoot this dog. And then he doesn't. He decides not to. He decides just to keep the dog trapped.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saves the dog's life when the house is on fire. And then the dog is Norman's friend. And this is how they decide Norman finds this hotel. He puts a leash on the dog, and he says, "Go home, boy."
Yeah.
That's how the dog finds the hotel for him, because he just lets the dog take him home.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a strain for me.
I would agree.
And I'm going to be honest, the commentary by Rodo even gives away that they had no idea at first how Norman was going to find the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
And it hit them with the dog and everything. It hit them how he could find the hotel.
Oh man.
So it's kind of like an afterthought type thing. I'm like, that's, you guys are stretching it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the whole hotel scene. So Norman comes into this hotel like Rambo.
Yeah.
Killing meth heads left and right, making his way until there's a final showdown in the pool room, which was a cool setting. I will say that.
I agree.
The pool room against Raylan. And he finally, Raylan accidentally shoots his wife, the mom, who almost drags the little girl into the pool. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And then Raylan and Norman have this fight amongst bug spray smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like bug spray fogger.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, Raylan's about to kill Norman. Norman takes out Raylan's eyes.
Literally.
So that he can be blind like Norman. Yeah. He pushes his thumbs in.
Ugh.
And then at the last second, the little girl kills Raylan, saves Norman. And then that's when Norman's like, "Don't come here. Don't come closer."
That's actually a pretty good little impression, dude.
I was going to ask you to do an impression of Norman.
Not after that. That was pretty accurate, dude.
I've killed. I've raped.
Dude, that's...
Don't come closer.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, come on. Okay, so let me. I'm gonna talk about Stephen Lang because he is amazing.
I love Stephen Lang. Yep.
But here's the thing about the whole hotel sequence.
Please.
I feel like they made Norman like Daredevil.
I have that same note. Oh my gosh.
Did you write Daredevil down?
Yeah, dude. I did. And it was especially the scene in the pool where his hand is there and he just shoots like 3 shots and hits all 3 guys. And I was like, what?
Oh, that was in the basement.
Or the basement, right, wherever the water was or whatever. And I just kind of went, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like Bullseye.
Yeah.
Shoots all 3 of them.
Boom, boom, boom.
Perfectly.
Yep. I was like, I don't think that would happen.
And it's because they stepped into the water and the ripples from the water came to Norman's hand.
Yeah.
Norman's playing dead and yeah, that was weird, man.
It was weird. That didn't make any sense.
Because the beauty of Don't Breathe 1 is that Norman was blind, but they were on his territory.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The people trying to rob his house were on his territory. He knew his house better than they did.
Exactly.
And there were brilliant moments where he turns off the lights and he knows his house, so he's making his way through the basement where these kids have no idea where they are.
Right.
And that was brilliant. But now all of a sudden they put Norman in a environment that he is not familiar with at all. He doesn't know this hotel.
Yeah. No, not at all.
And first of all, you have to give the movie the idea that the dog led him to the hotel in a like that quickly, first of all.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like it takes like a day or something. He gets him there quick.
Yeah.
Just
On
in time
foot.
to save the little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, on foot.
On foot.
And Norman knows exactly where to go to the basement to turn off the breakers, to turn off the power in the hotel, to save the little girl in the nick of time.
Right.
That was tough. And then, like you said, the fighting, everything.
Yeah.
Just Norman just seemed supernatural.
Agreed.
And I definitely wrote down Daredevil because there were times that Norman seemed as attuned to his other senses as Daredevil is. But we all know Daredevil has superpowers. Norman doesn't. He's a Navy SEAL.
Right.
So, yeah, that bothered me.
Agreed. I agree. And I even think my issue with the second half of it, because I agree, I thought the first half was pretty good. It reminded me a lot of the first one, which is what I was kind of hoping for and expecting. But then when the second half became an action movie, which I was like, what? That's not what I was expecting. Which is
kind of.
It just like you said. I mean, he's Daredevil or he's John McClane or something, you know. And I was just like, I don't know. I was hoping for more of that suspense.
I totally get that.
So it threw me off for sure.
Yeah, and so when you have something like that, and that was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
All the little things start to bother you more.
Right. Yep.
The things that I might be able to just get past on another movie, they start to bother me more. Like, okay, so I'm going to nitpick here. Here's little things I'm going to nitpick.
Please.
In Norman's house, there's the red box that he tells the little girl to go lock herself into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Brilliant scene, first of all.
Agreed.
Okay, I did like the scene, and I liked the tension of the one guy trying to drown her,
right?
Pouring water in, and also putting the live wire over the water.
Yeah, oofta. Yeah,
yeah, that was a very tense scene. But then, okay, so this Norman comes along, and after he takes care of the dude, he knocks the box over because the little girl's drowning in it.
Right.
And then he rips open the door with his bare hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, the dude that was in the house, in that basement, that was fighting Norman, was bigger than Norman.
Yes, I thought
he couldn't have done the same thing.
Yes.
He could have opened that door just as easy. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
And also, a door that's that easy to open is... water wouldn't leak out of it? Okay.
Right.
Okay, so that bothered me.
I totally agree.
We got the super glue scene, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. That was awesome. I have that note.
I loved the super glue scene. Norman puts super glue on the guy's nose and mouth to suffocate him.
Yeah.
And the Jim Bob comes in. Is that his name? Yeah, Jim Bob, the blonde guy who was amazing.
Yeah.
Also,
Super creepy.
lots of stuff to love in this movie still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep stressing that there's a lot of things to love, and Adam Young, who played Jim Bob, is one of those because
Yes.
he was such a creepy meth head dude.
Yeah. He freaked me out for sure.
Yeah, right.
Oof. Yeah.
Oh man, he was so good.
Yeah.
So he uses a screwdriver to poke a hole in I think the guy's name is Rocky, I think.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Rocky Boy.
Yeah.
He pokes a hole in his cheek so that he can breathe. And then Rocky Boy slices the super glue on his mouth so that he can breathe out of his mouth. And in doing so, like, cuts his lips or something because his mouth starts bleeding.
Ugh.
Okay, so I get this. But then, not too long after, we see Rocky Boy again. Suddenly, he has no super glue on his face at all.
Nice.
And I'm sitting there
Yep.
thinking, how did he get that super glue off his face so quickly?
That's true.
And I'm just... It was just a little touch, and I just feel like maybe they just wanted to save on special effects or something. I don't know. It would have been nicer to see his nose just with super glue caked on his nose for
Right.
the rest of that section of the movie.
Agreed. That would be awesome. Or they, you know, I mean, with movies they always film it out of sequence. Maybe it was just totally a screw up, but they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you should have had super glue all over. Whatever.
I don't know, man. That bothered me a little bit. The white streak in the hair.
Yeah.
There's a moment where Raylan gets Phoenix, the little girl. I keep saying the little girl, but yeah, her name is Phoenix.
Yes.
Raylan gets Phoenix, and to prove that she's his daughter, he takes off his hat, and he's got a white streak in his hair.
Yeah.
Is that genetic? Is that a genetic thing, buddy?
I don't think so. I even thought when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's totally playing her. Because he saw her earlier at the gas station. He had a hat on. I thought maybe... I didn't think at first maybe it wasn't her dad. Maybe it was just some creep. And I thought maybe he went to the store and just, you know, got a, I don't know, hair dye or something, did the streak just to convince her. But no.
Yeah,
that's a
that would have
genetic
been
thing.
better.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, oh, she's young. She's not going to know. If I show her the streak in my hair, she'll think we're related. I thought that would be interesting, but no. It was, I guess, genetic.
Yeah, I don't... that was kind of weird to me.
I agree.
And finally, this was a thought I had.
Yeah.
And I meant to look this up, actually, but I didn't. Can you do a heart transplant between a 11-year-old child and a grown woman?
That's a great question. Because how big is the heart at her age? Because she's still growing. She's 11. I don't know.
Okay, so I just looked it up, and evidently you can put an adult's heart in a child's body if you have to.
Okay.
But there is nothing online about putting a child's heart in an adult's body. So I don't know. I don't know. That seemed weird to me, but, you know, whatever.
But they were drugged up. Who knows? Maybe they were just going with it.
Let's talk about good things, though.
Yes, please. Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a lot. Okay. Before we get into the good things,
Yes.
I said that I would tell you what I would have done.
Yes, yeah, please.
I would have made the beginning of the movie more interesting and drawn out. I would have given more character to the ranger.
Yes,
And
agreed.
I would have had the meth head invasion of Norman's house be the climax of the movie.
Yes. Yep. And I agree, because like I said, that was what I was expecting and hoping for, because I really liked the first one. I love that setting. I love that intense. I mean, the whole movie was really, in my opinion, much more intense in that house.
Yeah.
So that was what I was hoping for, and so I think had the whole movie been there again, I would have been fine with it. I wouldn't have thought it was like a rehash of the first one. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Or even in this house. Not even the old house. That's fine. But this house.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
It's a new house.
Yes. Yep.
It's bigger, and that makes sense with a little girl in it.
Right.
I mean, you have this amazing premise of now Norman's got this little girl that he's raising. You make it more clear that he's trying to better himself.
Right.
That he knows he's done terrible things, but that he's trying to better himself.
Right.
And you build up these meth heads. You build up the Ranger. And you build up the relationship between Norman and Phoenix. And then you have this build up to like 30 to 40 minutes in, these meth heads find Phoenix and then they come to invade the house.
I agree, man.
Heck, give Norman, if you want to have a big pool scene like that, if that was so important, then give Norman a empty pool in his backyard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That he never uses. You could have... This movie could have been done better. And, this is where the good things come in.
Right. Yeah.
First of all, the music. Roque Baños
Nice.
did the score again. And, oh, my God, I loved the music in this movie.
Nice. Yeah.
It had some of the same themes from the first movie, and then especially some of the stuff near the end of the movie was so beautiful and dramatic because of the musical score.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
I love that. I also loved the cinematography.
Agreed.
By Pedro Luque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was beautifully shot. Especially, they did another, just like in the first movie, they did a single shot through the house.
Yep.
And they did it again in this movie, and they did it longer and better, and it was amazing.
I have that same note. I thought that scene was awesome. It was perfect. And that was that was right, I mean, towards the beginning-ish, and so I was like, oh, here we go again. Like, good, I'm happy about this. But
yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had given a little bit more time for some of the character development and then had the invasion happen halfway through the movie,
yeah,
then you would have been like, oh, you're so built up, you're so tense, you know who these meth heads are.
Yeah.
They're terrible, they're awful, they're evil. You would have felt even worse about the death of Hernandez, the Ranger.
Exactly.
Because her character would have been even more developed.
Right. Yep.
And then you start with that long shot, and it's like, oh, we're back. Now we're back.
Yep.
And here we go. We're going to go for a ride in this house. A ride. But yeah, I thought that was great. And I was super, super tense when they invaded the house. Because it was done really well.
Agreed. I love that shot of him. He gets in the house again after he's found the dog. And you just see him, like, he turns one corner and then turns back, and you see the two guys behind him. I thought it was really, like, a great shot. It definitely set it up again. And then, of course, they realize he's blind, so. But I just thought that was such a pretty shot. It just was. It reminded me, you know what it reminded me of a little bit was...
The Strangers.
Yep, The Strangers. Just had that feel. Good call, man.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of an homage to The Strangers.
Yep, I could see that for sure.
What else? I liked a lot of the characters, man.
Mm-hmm.
The characters were so good. Especially, we mentioned Brendan Sexton III as Raylan.
Right.
He played such a good, evil, white trash meth head.
Right. And creepy. So creepy.
Yeah. And he had a sense of leadership to him, too.
Right.
Because he doesn't show up at the house right away with everybody else. He shows up a little bit later, and when he shows up, there's like some gravity to him showing up.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Yep.
I liked a lot of the moments. I liked a lot of the kills.
I did too.
I thought were amazing. And that's about all I have written down. Raul. Okay, that's what I have written down. I don't know if you realize this, but the one meth head who realized how evil the other guys were,
Right. Yeah.
and didn't want them to do that to the little girl, and ended up helping Norman.
Right.
He was he was the same guy who tipped the robbers off in the first movie to Norman's house.
Really?
Yep, same character.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Very cool. Okay,
And
that's cool.
Did you happen to watch the extended ending
of this one?
Yeah.
No.
It was in the bonus features.
Ooh, tell me.
It's basically the same, except Raul is the one who takes Phoenix to the child's home, the children's home.
Okay.
In the moments of Norman being a daredevil-like person, there were some very cool scenarios, some moments. And one of those was when he took the bell and he shoved it into Jim Bob's mouth.
Yeah.
So that he could hear where Jim Bob was.
Yeah.
And he threw the hammer at his head. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And all in all, I can watch this movie again. I have issues with it. It could have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nowhere near as good as the first, in my opinion.
Yep.
But to me, it is still a rewatchable movie.
I don't know if I'm that way. I mean, yeah, maybe some point. But I was thinking that same thing earlier was, could I rewatch this anytime soon? I don't know. I could rewatch the first one. I don't know if I could rewatch this one anytime soon. Like, I'm not excited about
honestly, I think
it, but I don't know.
I think the music and the cinematography go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the acting.
Yeah, that's true.
All the acting is pretty great.
Yep.
And I think that all of that goes a long way to still allowing me to enjoy the movie while recognizing its faults. And
fair.
I probably felt the same way you did. Like, but it was watching it a second time with the commentary that helped me feel that way.
All right. Well, maybe I'll try it then.
So, well, no, I mean, the thing is I forced myself to watch it. I did it for our podcast.
Right.
And, rewatching it allows me to also give it a second chance. So
you're right.
That's why I like to watch movies. If I can, watch movies twice before we review them.
That's fair. There was a couple things I wanted to mention too that I really liked about this. There was a couple moments. One, you already talked about, the long shot with Phoenix was great. But I love her escape. Or actually, no. The first thing I love is how she knows that the bad guys are in the house is the light switch goes on.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's really smart. She's a smart kid. Because he would never turn the lights on. He doesn't need to. So I really liked that moment. I was like, okay, I really like this kid because she's smart. She gets it.
It also shows that his survival training is really good.
Right. Yep. The other thing I really liked is during that same scene, for her escape, she throws her watch, which I thought was good, and has that go off so she can sneak under the bed and slide out the hallway.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was cool. I mean, I really liked her character. She just was smart, and I just liked her. Another thing,
she didn't make stupid choices.
Exactly.
The house.
Yep. Exactly. She was smart. She knew what she was doing.
And they also didn't make her superhuman.
Exactly. You're right.
Like when she goes into the basement, she's trying to close the door, and then that big, huge dude comes and just knocks the door and knocks her down.
Right.
And like I hated seeing that, but man, that was a good shot. That was good writing right there.
Yep. I really liked Stephen Lang, or what's his name again in the movie? Since they never say it.
Norman.
Norman, thank you. I loved the scene where he reaches his hands through the glass door. It totally which again I guess is somewhat supernatural. It kind of reminded me of Michael Myers a little bit, or Jason or anyone just breaking through that door and grabbing the guy. I was like, ooh, that's fun. That's just reminded me a little bit.
I didn't really feel that was that supernatural.
Maybe not. Yeah,
because they were still on his territory, and all he did was put his hands through the small glass panes on
Right.
his door.
True. I don't know. I just thought I liked that part. It just I felt like, again, like it may have been an homage to slasher movies. Maybe not,
absolutely.
but I thought it was cool. And then the last thing, okay, help me out with this.
Yeah.
The very last thing we see, I think it's after credits. Maybe it's at the end. I don't remember. But we see the dog go up to Norman's hand, who's laying there dead, and lick it. He doesn't move his hand, right? Like in most movies, he would like move his hand, and you go, "Oh, sequel."
Not really. It was just a little lead in. The dog kind of moves Norman's finger, which makes you think, oh, did the dog move his finger?
Right.
Or did the finger move? But it's an obvious just little bonus scene in the middle of the credits.
Right.
Saying, hey, Norman might still be alive.
See, and I took it differently. I thought that it looked like he didn't move his hand, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a fun way to shout out those movies where you go, oh, there's another one. But the fact that he didn't, you go, oh, he's dead. Like, that's kind of...
Oh, yeah, no.
So that's how I
didn't take it like that at
oh,
all.
That's how I took it. So I was like, oh, cool. Okay, I like that. It's kind of an homage. But also saying, nope, this is it. You know, he's dead, but watch, they'll make a third one, and I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah. I almost guarantee it was put there just to... Yeah, and even Rodo said in the commentary, he's like, is he dead? Is he alive? You don't know.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, it's just to leave it open and say, hey, guys, we're not going to say he's alive, but he might be.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I see it more as they didn't specifically have him move his fingers so that if this movie didn't do well,
Right, yeah.
then, you know, if this is the last Don't Breathe movie they make, then there it is. He's dead.
Yep. My last thing, and then I think we should jump into our 3 questions.
Sure.
But the last thing that made me, the whole time I saw Brendan Sexton III with that white streak in his hair, every time I saw him, I kept thinking of one of the main bad guys in the original Mad Max movie. I cannot think of his name. Like, there's a bad guy that has white streaks in his hair, and they kind of look the same.
Yeah.
So every time you pop up, I would always think of Mad Max, which also took me out a little. It shouldn't have, but it made me laugh. So,
I think you're talking about the main bad guy. In
yeah,
Mad Max.
yeah. I'm totally drawing a blank on his name.
Keep talking.
All right. Anyway, but that was it was a silly part that made me chuckle, but yeah, those were the parts I liked. There
Sorry,
you go.
I was.
I know. I
quick.
tried
I
looking
was
it up
looking
at one point.
IMDb, and I'm doing it quick while we're on air.
Hey, let's do it.
Hugh Keys Byrne as Toe Cutter.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Who also played the main bad guy in Mad Max Fury Road, who is a completely different character.
You're right. That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
There we go.
Thank you, but I think we should jump into our 3 questions. 3 questions.
Our 3 Christmases.
Our 3 Christmases.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
So, without further ado, Scotty, what
Yeah.
was your favorite death/kill in Don't Breathe 2?
Well, I think I got to give it to Rocky Boy.
Yeah.
There were some really good ones. I mean, there's the kill of Hernandez, the ranger, because it's just so blunt and brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And because I like that one because he pulls the thing around her throat.
Yeah.
And you're wondering if she's going to get out of this. But then he just gets the hammer and it's like, oh, wow, they did it. She's dead.
Yeah. Yep.
But Rocky Boy was just because it was a multi-tiered kill.
Yeah.
First, Norman superglues his face so he can't breathe, and he miraculously gets out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And after when they're in the greenhouse, I guess, that was a greenhouse.
Yeah, it was a
in
greenhouse.
Norman's Rocky Boy is about to get the little girl, and you can tell Rocky Boy he's had enough, and he actually might hurt this little girl, despite Raylan saying he wants the little girl unharmed. And then Norman comes up behind him and with that 3-pronged fork thing and just gets him in the back of the neck, and then he just beats him. And it's also a great scene because it's the first time the little girl sees the darkness in Norman.
Right. Good point.
You know?
Ooh,
So
that's
I
good.
would say that was my favorite kill in the movie. What about
Nice.
you?
I would say my favorite one, and again, it's sort of the aftermath, but it's the mom in the wheelchair getting shot and then falling off with her wheelchair in the pool with Phoenix handcuffed to her because Phoenix has to take the machete and chop her mom's hand off. I thought that was horrifying. And I was just... I know she's dead. The mom is dead at that point, but I just felt like that whole part was just like gruesome and gnarly. So that would be my favorite, just because it was really dark.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, see, that part bothered me a little bit.
Really?
That was I didn't mention this before, but that was another part of disbelief.
Okay.
Another scene that I had to give a little to, because first of all, the little girl's being dragged into the pool by her mom's body.
Right.
And she's just hanging on with her little feet on the pole.
That's
and still
fair.
able to hold up the mom's like full weight.
Right. That's true.
And then she goes to all that trouble to get the machete, which also was a little bit hard to believe.
Fair.
And I thought it was clever. Cut off the mom's arm. And it's gruesome. And it's, like you said, it's fantastic. But then she falls in with her anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I was like, you went through all that trouble, and then you fell in with her anyway, and you survived because you landed on your mom's dead body, and it broke your fall.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I get you. I get it. I do.
Next question.
Yes, next question. Scotty, was it scary?
Well, Andrew, after a month of movies that weren't scary at all, I would say this movie does have some legitimate scares in it.
Fair.
It's a home invasion movie at the beginning, before it turns into an action movie, like you said. I think the first 30 minutes of this movie are filled with suspense and tension.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was legitimately, my heart was beating because these meth heads were scary. So, and I was scared for the little girl. So yeah, I would say that there's some very real moments of tension and scares in the first home invasion. What about you?
Agreed, actually, 100%. I would say the first half has some freaky stuff before it jumps into the action film. And I think one of the scariest scenes for me was the dad in the bathroom with the girl, where she comes out and he's just sitting there watching her. I was so... Because, I mean,
Raylan.
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Raylan, her bio dad. I just thought that was creepy. He touches her hair. I mean, she's an 11-year-old girl that just went to the bathroom. Ugh. So that freaked me out. So yeah, that was scary. Again, doesn't help that I have an 11-year-old probably. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, for sure. I'm with you. First half, yeah, definitely some real creepiness, eeriness, scariness. But the second half, not so
Now,
much.
real quick, have you ever had a Rottweiler chase your daughter to teach her survival skills?
I thought about it, but after this movie, I thought, nah.
Nah, I've seen it in a movie now.
Yep, I don't need
I'm
to
good.
anymore. No, I have not. Before somebody calls CPS on me. No. Anywho, question number 3, friend. Yeah, this will be interesting. Did you have fun with horror?
In a way, I did.
Okay.
In a way, I didn't.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, the first half of the movie I think is fantastic for the most part. The second half of the movie lost me the first time I saw it. The second time I had a little more fun with it.
Okay.
I still don't think the movie's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one was. The first one was just so good.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And I feel like they could have almost done the first one again, but with this new premise that made actual sense.
Mm-hmm.
With Norman's character, and just had the basis of the movie be the invasion of his house. But yeah, they took it a little too far and they went off the rails. But I definitely would say that there's redeeming factors to this movie that make it worth watching. So I would say half and half.
Totally fair. My exact word I have written down is kinda. I kind of had fun.
Kinda.
Yeah. Same thing. 50-50. Again, I mean, beat a dead horse, but yeah, I really liked that first half. I thought that was fun, and it did remind me a lot of the first one. It's just that second half took me out too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch it anytime soon. I'm sure I'll rewatch it. I rewatch a lot of movies, but there's nothing really making me want to rewatch it again anytime soon. So
Yeah, and let me clarify from earlier, if we weren't recording this episode about it, I would not have watched it a second time.
Fair. Okay.
Maybe eventually,
Yeah.
but not in 1 week.
Out across the great wide sea.
All right, so there you have it. That's our discussion and review of Don't Breathe 2.
Nice.
Which brings us to now. Last week we found out that this is not fun for Andrew because he has to pick the movie. It's only fun when I get to pick it.
That's right. This is my job now. Ugh.
It's always fun for me. Andrew, what are we watching this week?
It is fun for me. It is. I'm being a stinker. Well, I hope you're happy with this. Because part of me moved this movie up my list because of what you said.
It'll be a first. It'll be a first.
Oh man. I'm sorry.
Finally, 24 episodes. I finally get a movie I want to watch.
Oh,
no, I'm
man.
kidding. Come on, man.
All right.
I'm always happy.
No, I know, but my reasoning behind saying that is you had mentioned that you really want to see the remake. So I picked the original first, which is 1992's Candyman.
Fantastic.
I've never seen this, and it's one I've wanted to see for a long time. So, you being
I'll
excited...
be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once.
Ooh, okay. Awesome.
I saw it back when it came out on home video and thought it was pretty great.
Nice.
It's based on a story by my favorite author, Clive Barker. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Stephen King is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's one of my favorites, and so I actually bought it recently.
Oh,
I think
nice.
last year when the remake came out, and I was going to watch it before the remake.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. Because this is one, like I said, I've had this on my list forever, but hearing you say your number one most anticipated, movie to watch this year was Candyman, the remake.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to boost this up.
The one, to clarify, of
Yes.
the movies that we didn't get to see last year.
Correct, yes.
This is the one that Candyman remake is the one I was looking forward to the most.
Yes.
So.
Yep. And I already know...
So fantastic.
Yeah, I already know I'm going to love the... or you know what? Never mind. We'll talk about it next week. I will
The
say,
popcorn that you eat while you watch it?
Yep,
Is that what
that's
you were
it.
going to say?
That's it. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I already
No,
know
I'm really
gonna love the
excited.
popcorn.
So, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for putting this up my list a little higher.
Andrew, where
Yes.
can people watch this if they haven't seen it?
Good
Or if they
question.
want to watch it again?
So unfortunately, this is not streaming anywhere, which is a real bummer.
Okay.
But you can rent it on pretty much everything. Apple has it. Amazon Prime has it. YouTube even has it. For I think they're all about $3.99 with plus tax.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was hoping that it would be streaming, so everyone could, if they had a streaming service, they could watch it for free. But it is just rentable at this moment. So yeah, give it a shot. If we,
well, there you have it.
There you have it. We'd love for you to watch it so you can, enjoy the conversation next week and know what we're talking about beforehand as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty excited to hear what you think.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited. Like I said, I've wanted to see this. I think even before our podcast, it's just been on my list for ever. So I'm very excited about this one.
Yeah, and Candyman is one of the more iconic horror movie villains.
Yeah.
He's maybe second tier underneath the big ones.
Yep.
Yep. But he is up there, so
yeah.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
awesome.
I agree. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to watch it, review it, and hear your thoughts.
Same with you, buddy. Same with you.
Thanks, man. Aw, this was fun. This is always, I've said this. We'll say this every time, but this is definitely a highlight of the week, my man.
Highlight of the week, yes. I agree.
For sure.
But we come to the close of another episode.
Yes.
Everybody out there, thank you for listening.
Yes,
Thank you for supporting us. And please, we are on the social medias. Pop in, say hello if you'd like to. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're even on YouTube.
Yeah, we are.
And if you want to write us, nobody has yet, but if you want to write us, funwithhorrorpodcast@gmail.com.
Nice.
Be the first
to
say hello.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll frame your question.
And just so you know, Andrew only answers emails with no clothes on.
Oh, now no one will email. You're like,
what are you talking about? Everyone will.
No, they'll be
I had to entice them somehow.
No, if I didn't have clothes on and their sun was shining, people would go blind, man. I'm so pasty.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Andrew, I love you.
I love you, Scotty. I love you so much, buddy. And
have a good week watching Candyman.
Thank you, you too. And again, like you said, thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next week for Candyman, 1992's Candyman.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So go. Now, go.